Good morning and welcome to the fourth day of Mega Bharat Nutrition Week. I am Kamal Narayan, CEO of Integrated Health and Wellbeing Council, India's premier institution for health awareness, advocacy, and behavior change. It has been a constant endeavor of the ISW Council to create strong advocacy for all that concerns the people's health and well-being. This second edition of Bharat Nutrition Week is one such major initiative that brings together policymakers, experts, clinicians, social influencers, the public, and even children through a series of thought-provoking activities to make them contribute to good food and nutrition for all. Ayurveda is part of almost every Indian's life in some way or the other. And why we thought about a day on Ayurveda, customarily considered a healing practice in this manthan about food and its role in health, because this age-old indigenous science treats food as medicine and as the center element that supports and balances our well-being. However, before we further proceed with today's program, let's have a look at what has happened so far. Welcome to the third day of this Mega Bharat Nutrition Week conclave.
अपने देश के हर आदमी को सच्चा डाइट मिलना चाहिए। इस कार्यक्रम के लिए ISW काउंसिल को धन्यवाद देता हूँ।
So I'm so happy to see us all coming together for this nutrition week.
Epigenetic reprogramming happens in the baby is within 48 to 72 hours of conception, even before mother knows she is pregnant.
Nutrition is a low priority. It is never a priority to them.
It's fair to say that diet plays a huge role in NCDs and cardiovascular disease.
The problem of nutrition is very, very high in India. We are facing a triple burden of disease.
We have to own the responsibility on ourselves as specialists, doctors, healthcare providers of all cadres. What are we doing about it?
A healthy diet is an integral part of a healthy lifestyle at any time, but especially vital if you are pregnant or planning a pregnancy.
This is J3. We are playing North Zone with the theme Vitamin D and C and Minerals. We have yet a tie break between Protein Kings and Health Crusaders. All right, there's only one way we can resolve this, Princey. By the end of the quiz today, our team will draw a lucky draw, and the team's name that comes up will be participating in the grand finale.
I'm going to cook pineapple tabbouleh from Lebanese cuisine with the turmeric cinnamon iced tea. Salad with iced teas complement to each other. Yeah.
Our food and dietary habits are primarily dependent on the region we live in. For example, someone living in eastern or southern India will be more traditionally accustomed to rice and fish. It is because the soil is fit for that crop, and many rivers and long coastline offers a variety of fishes. The various dishes of fermented rice are also a specialty in these areas, a dish that meets the calorie requirements and leaves a cooling effect on the body. Apart from these local and cultural food habits that are inextricably connected with natural resources and the environment, one other thing guiding our food practices consciously or unconsciously has been the over 3 millennia old practice of Ayurveda. The science of life that and everything around it has been part of our lives, and its knowledge has passed from generation to generation in the form of home remedies or dadi ma ke nukse. Ayurveda propagates the philosophy of prevention is better than cure. It considers our diet, our lifestyle, not only to prevent diseases and live healthy, but also as the medium of realizing one's optimum physical and spiritual potential. Ayurveda advocates moderation in our activities and harmony with our surroundings. Naturally, it backs hyper-local and seasonal food, a moderately active lifestyle, and the proper rest to avoiding getting ill. And in this era of globalization, where international food is treated as a mark of advancement, it is important to understand how Ayurvedic food practices can fulfill basic nutrition requirements and help us fight the growing menace of various non-communicable and other lifestyle diseases. And to tell us more about the benefits of Ayurvedic practices and how Ayurveda can help choose the right type of nutrition for optimum well-being, we have a galaxy of globally acclaimed experts of this ancient knowledge today with us. So let me welcome Dr. Sunanda Ranade, Vice Chairman, International Academy of Ayurveda, Pune. Dr. Ranade is an expert Ayurvedic gynecologist and nutritionist working in this field for over 47 years. She is working as a visiting professor at various international institutes. Dr. Ranade has written hundreds of articles on Ayurveda, published not only in Indian magazines and newspapers, but also in Italy, Germany, and the USA. She is also the author of several books on Ayurveda and yoga, and they have been published in Marathi, English, Spanish, and Portuguese languages. She has been honored with several national and international awards. So thank you so much, Dr. Ranade, for joining us today.
Thank you.
We also have with us Dr. P.M. Warrior, Chief Physician and Managing Trustee of Kottakkal Arya Vaidyasala. Dr. Warrior is a physician of repute and an able administrator with a will and vision, and is actively associated with various government agencies and social organizations. He is a member and office bearer of several professional organizations and regulatory bodies as well. Dr. Warrior is a guru under Guru Sis Parampara of Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapeeth since 2007 and a recipient of various professional awards, including the Dhanvantari Award by the state government. So welcome, Dr. Warrior, to this program. We also have with us Dr. Gunwant Hari Yola, Principal and Dean, Faculty of Ayurveda, Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, Pune. Professor Yola is also the director of the International Academy of Ayurveda, also based out of Pune. With more than 20 years of teaching experience, Dr. Yola is a recognized PhD guide also in Kaya Chikitsa of several prestigious universities. He has completed a research project on sickle cell disease in the capacity of principal investigator under the Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. So thank you so much, Dr. Yola, and all our esteemed panelists for this panel, which we are hosting on the occasion of Bharat Nutrition Week. So let me begin with Dr. Ranade, Professor Ranade. Professor Ranade, I think, as I said, and that's what we have been experiencing in our homes from the very beginning, from the childhood, that somehow Ayurveda has always been part of our life, what to eat, what not eat. If you have a, cold, cough, there were so many things which our, parents used to tell that this should not be eaten. This should not be eaten in the mornings. This should not be eaten in the evening. And there seems to be some science behind it. And I'm sure that came from Ayurveda as well. How do you see role of Ayurveda in overall health and well-being? And, over the period, I think there is a lot of promotion at the same time. We see a lot of consumerism also in Ayurveda as well. Is it kind of receding and people are now forgetting that, or there is a possibility of kind of bringing people back to this very, very important science?
Namaste. I am very glad to have the part in this conversation, but I would like to go with the one thing that I am not going to talk anything about the food, but I will talk how to prepare the food when you eat it, because most of the houses, when they prepare the food, they use the aluminum vessels, and that is not good for the health. So if you prepare a proper food according to the Ayurveda, you can get the maximum energy out of that. So that's why you have to decide how you will use the utensils in the cooking. And for that, I suggest the earthen pots or the pots which are useful, like the iron pot or the glassware, where you can cook the food, which will be very good for the health. Later on, we will come to the whether it should be the organic one or the but it is 80% of the population of India, they are not able to get the organic food. But if they get the fresh food, that will be better for the health of the maintaining the health of the Indian people. And for that, they have to learn the basic things from the Ayurveda, where it is suggested that you should prepare it on a fire, on the low fire from the gas, or because previously when we were preparing the food on the wooden fire, it was very tasty, appealing to the mind and giving you the nourishment properly. Now we are cooking in a pressure pan, and that is not good for the health. Similarly, most of the people are using the microwave, which is not good for the preparing the food anymore.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ranade. Interesting point, and I think this is something we tend to ignore when we discuss food. We ignore the whole thought about how the food is prepared, and I think that is the beauty of Ayurveda and Indian, life sciences, that you kind of try to go to the much more detailed about how the things should be done. So thank you so much for bringing this point. Dr. Warrior, what is your opinion about the overall role Ayurveda can play in addressing so many challenges which we have, not only malnutrition, undernutrition, overnutrition, the triple burden of nutrition is something which we are facing. Then the whole, the burden of lifestyle and, these non-communicable diseases, it's like really a major challenge. So how Ayurveda, and if we kind of go back and try to incorporate in our day-to-day life, how it can change the whole scenario?
Thank you, Mr. Kamal Narayan. I think I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Sunanda Ranade, Vice Chairman, International Academy of Ayurveda, Pune. Dr. Gunman Hari, Principal and Dean, Dr. D.Y. Patel, Vidyapith. Mr. Kamal Narayan, CEO, Integrated Health and Wellbeing Council, and all other dignitaries assembled over here. A very warm good morning to all of you. I would like to start with a quotation from Taittiriya Upanishad. Annam Brahmedi Vijanad. The quote enlightens us on the prime importance of food and life. A deeper and wider connotation of this fact is that food, life, and self-awareness are inseparable from each other. The science of Ayurveda has also built an approach towards life and longevity on the same platform of thought. Food is considered as a major pillar which supports and sustains life. Pranabhutana, says Charaka Samhita, food is life itself. for living beings. Indigenous thoughts on food or ahara realizes the connectivity of it with one's psychological state even. The expanded understanding of you are what you eat. A major portion of the theoretical and practical domains of the health science is anchored on dietary discipline and its associated matters. Speaking in a modern parlance, a nutritional dietetics, therapeutic dietetics, and nutraceuticals would find roots in Ayurveda as scattered references in different contexts. As the program is rightly titled, Indian food science is an area which merits great attention and greater exploration at deeper levels. For Indians, food becomes a culture. So is the case with Ayurveda. Ayurveda proposes a unique dietary culture focused on one's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. For want of time, we may not be able to go deep into the references regarding nutrition in Ayurveda. However, I shall just mention a few points. Coming to a disease preventive or prophylactic segment of Ayurveda, food and nutrition gets utmost importance. For a person to keep disease at bay, he should follow Hita, that means best suited food, and Mita, moderate eating habits. Food should be easy to digest and nutritionally balanced too. Classical Ayurveda literature points out dietary items ideal for daily use. For example, foods for habitual consumption. A few examples are wheat, green gram, jaggery, milk, honey, pomegranate, and so on. Giving a thought on the nutritional part, one may wonder how scientifically selected and suggested are the items. They match perfectly with the nutritional parameters as per the up-to-date information available to us. Apart from knowing what to eat, it is equally important to know what not to eat. Too much of fermented foods, dry fruits, alkaline foods are not told to be suitable for daily use. Let me mention about a specific pattern of therapeutic diet practiced in Ayurveda. This is indicated for patients who had undergone cleansing therapy or panchakarma, or even for those who are in the convalescent period post-fever. An incremental administration of dietary items beginning with rice gruel, green gram soup, seasoned soups, and leveling up to the unprocessed and processed meat soup, each item to be used for a specific number of days. The classical term for this is samsarjana karma. The pattern equips one's digestive capacity to gradually get back to normalcy by stepwise introduction of food items which wouldn't contradict the condition of the disease of the patient even. It also aims at proper nutritional supply needed for the body to recover from debilitated state. This sets a good model for the nutritional therapeutics in Ayurveda. The fundamental approach of this science aims at balancing one's diet in such a way as to maintain the physiological equilibrium of the body by means of proper digestion, metabolism, and resultant nourishment. In the contemporary scenario, nutrition is a frequently discussed topic. However, at a medical angle, it has more than one side. Apart from balancing the nutrition, we are dealing with malnutrition as well as overnutrition also. That is where the Ayurvedic principles of dietetics gain relevance again. The science talks in detail about the factors affecting proper digestion, transformation, and absorption of food. The important ones among them are quantity of food, quality of food, one's age, digestive factor, constitutional peculiarities, suitabilities, time of food intake, to list some of them. All these factors show effects on the process of nutrition as they directly influence the rate of conversion, absorption, and bioavailability of the dietary constituents. In addition to this, Ayurveda advocates to modify one's dietary regimen in accordance with the seasonal and diurnal variations. The science is so particular about conditioning our body in tune with the nature and changes happening in the nature. Such adaptations and modifications in turn ensures the maintenance of proper nutritional status also. To put in brief, Ayurveda has a comprehensive view and vision on the dietetics and nutrition. It is designed in more of a personalized manner, which makes it more effective, scientific, and systematic at application levels. I'm extremely happy to be a part of Bharat Nutrition Week organized by Integrated Health and Well-Being Council. I extend all the best wishes for the team for their ongoing and future ventures. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Warrior. Thank you so much for your kind of a keynote, which included most of the aspects of the Indian food science as the topic of this program is. And interestingly, you have rightly highlighted that how scientifically, Ayurveda tries to bring forward the science of food as well, and everything which has been recommended in different seasons, at different time of the day, for different ages, is so personalized way of ensuring that every individual gets the right kind of nutrition, which is also at the same time is not in contrast with any other the condition which the person may be having. So thank you so much. We will come back to you with more questions also, sir. Let me go to Dr. Gunwant now. Dr. Gunwant, your opening remark in terms of the relevance of Ayurveda and the Indian food sciences and how they can address the problems which we face, which are massive actually in our country.
Thank you, Kamalji, for asking this particular question. Actually, I would like to mention that you, in starting the program, you mentioned about the lifestyle disorder as well as non-communicable diseases. And this burden is almost more than 70% on the health sector. So if we follow certain things, which are quite rightly mentioned in Ayurveda, the number one is the mindfulness, which is missing nowadays. We are not giving much importance what we are eating and how we are eating. So that mindfulness is missing. Number two, I would like to mention about the lunch hours in a working time. Initially, it was two hours, almost 30, 40 years before. Now it is reducing, and they are giving some companies, they are giving 15 minutes, 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And some companies are saying that there is no lunch hour. You can work and you can lunch. So that is not, yeah. You can say you work at the same time, you can have your lunch also on the same desk. So this is not acceptable actually. So the mindfulness is missing. The second thing, which is very important, because we are coming across the many foreign students, those who are coming to Pune, to the International Academy of Ayurveda to learn this particular science of, you can say, related to the food. So we always say that eat and meditate. So that is one kind of meditation also, food, when you are taking food. And for that purpose, we ask them to use all the sense organs while eating the food. Whenever a good, complete food of 6 tastes, when it comes to in front of you, you have to concentrate all your sense organ on the food. You have to look at the food first. You have to smell the food. So all these sense organ, even when you are cracking the papad or like that things, you have to hear that particular sound also. So that gives a complete, you can say, satisfaction, not just putting it inside, but the satisfaction is important. And once you are satisfied, you are not going to eat more food. So satisfy your sense organ. This is a very important thing which is mentioned in Ayurveda. Then, which is very rightly mentioned in Ayurveda, not in Ayurveda, but in Sanskrit Shlok actually, from some other references, that food should work as a medicine. Because this is the factor which is causing many diseases. And if we correct the food, it is possible for us to remove the cause or to stop the cause or to avoid the cause. And for that reason, the concept of Prakriti, the temperament or body type, which is very important. Some persons are Vata Prakriti person, Pitta Prakriti, Kapha Prakriti. If a Pitta Prakriti person includes more spices in his food, that may cause some harm to him or her.
Pitta Prakriti means acidic.
Yeah, for translation, you can say acidity, but I would like to say that each and every Indian should know about this concept of Ayurveda Prakriti. Each and every person should know what is my Prakriti, what is my body type. And accordingly, I have to do some changes in my lifestyle. Accordingly, I have to do some changes in my food and diet and nutrition also. So one more thing I would like to mention about the humming food and baconing food. This concept is very nicely mentioned in Ayurveda also. Humming means, for example, if a person with his wife and a child, they go to the party for a dinner, and the child of 3 years or 4 years, he just take one apple or a banana or some kind of like that. And he says, no, I am full now, I'm done. I don't require anything. So he is satisfied because his inner sense says that, yeah, I need this food. And the baconing food is that there are many dishes which are coming and I have to taste and I have to eat and I have to finish all these things. This is called as the baconing food. So that never gives satisfaction. So this humming food and baconing food concept should be, you can say, popularized among the school going children. And they should, you can say, be aware of this particular thing. And one more important thing which is mentioned in Ayurveda and which should be emphasized nowadays so that we can at least reduce the burden of this lifestyle disorder and non-communicable disease, that is chew more and taste more. And there are certain advertisements which are on the television that we have to actually, the Ayurvedic, you can say, community should ban all these, or they should communicate with these things, that some tomatoes, they are coming 1 month before and they are fresh after 1 month also. They are saying, if you are putting in refrigerator, these type of things are not good, which are not according to the Ayurveda actually. And this is very harmful to the society. One more thing, there is one advertisement that the child who is playing outside, he comes inside the room and a mother is giving a full glass of milk to him and he is finishing in 1 second or 2 seconds or 3 seconds. That is also not required. Because whatever this is a concept in naturopathy also and Ayurveda also, that whatever the solid material you have to drink, means you have to chew so much time so that the saliva can get mixed properly and then it is possible for you to drink that particular solid food. And the liquid food, you have to take very slowly. So this type of, you can say, concepts, or we can say these are the misconceptions in the society because of this social media, or you can say the television and the advertisement and all those things should be corrected properly. So this is my view. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gunwant. Very interesting and actually useful tips also from your side. Yes, this one part about chewing more, something like this, which has been part of. So my father used to tell that, you need to chew every, kind of bite at least by 100 times. And 100 times looks a little very impractical now.
Usually it is said that 32 times because we have 32 teeth. Yeah.
Teeth. So, that is how, that is how I think this has been a part of every household, this knowledge has been passed on, but at the same time, as you said, and very importantly, that how the whole concept of lunchtime and, how you need to involve all your senses when you are, kind of consuming. At present, we are a consumer. We try to consume everything, but at the same time, we have forgot the art of consuming. So I think that is need to be restored. Let me go to Dr. Ranade. And Dr. Ranade, you said that you are not going to talk about food, but let me then talk about that how to source food, how to cook food. And you mentioned about something related to cooking food. And then interesting aspect, which Dr. Gunwant also mentioned about how you consume actually. So what are the other, important aspect which you suggest, in terms of sourcing food, in terms of cooking is important. I think even the hygiene, upkeep, microwave is one thing which I think becoming of so much of, I think, part of every family now. And I think that may be causing a lot of damage. So how do you see that? What are the scientific aspects? People should definitely avoid these kind of thing. And then also in the type of the consumption pattern we should try to adhere to.
So when we were talking about last time, I told you that what type of the food, how you can cook it and everything. But one thing is always remember the food that going to develop your body or going to nourish your body, it should be prepared with love and care. And that is the most important part of our food making. Unless you make it with the love and care, it will never give the nourishment to your body. This is the first attempt. Second is you should take the shower before making the food, because that is most important, that brings the positive impression in the food. So person who is preparing food, it must be with the love and care and taking the shower. This is the first thing. Second thing is nowadays we have so many gadgets in our hands. So while eating the food, you should give half an hour at least to eat the food calm and quietly, sitting in a calm area and enjoying that food. You should not use your mobile. You should not use the computer. You should not sit in front of the television and enjoy the things and then eat the food. That food is not going to help your body at all. So whenever you need that the body should do all the good things to keep yourself healthy, you have to stay away half an hour at least from that gadgets till you complete your eating. And before starting eating, you should pray the God who has given you the food and say that will bring the positiveness in your mind also. And there are the good secretions of the all, whatever these juices are there to completely digest the food. So that's why you should praise the God who has given you the food and who is prepared. It must be the mother or your grandmother or somebody. But in many places you see nowadays, the women, they are in a hurry. They have to go to the work and then they don't be able to make all these things. And then they will say, oh, I will prepare food, then I will take the shower. And whenever they are in a hurry, or if you pray in a hurry, or if you are very angry, that angriness comes into that food. So whenever you are preparing the food, you should make it with the love. So remember always that whenever you have to prepare, it should be prepared in a clean and place where it can get the good impression. One of my students, she is preparing the food, and while preparing the food, she puts some of the songs of the God while preparing everything. You can imagine that food must be having a lot of energy into that food because of that songs, whatever is going on. And every day in the morning, whenever she is preparing the breakfast or even preparing the food for the afternoon, she is using the same way and keep that going on till day. And nowadays we have seen that the women, they like to put some of the music or something, and they are doing some there. So that food is not good for the body. The food that is get with all these impressions And nowadays we have forgotten about the positive impressions because we are staying in this world in a close atmosphere. We are going away from the nature. In previous time, it was a custom in our Maharashtra at least that once in a year before the Chaturmas, we call it, before it starts, you should go and sit in the nature and take the food, especially with the amla tree, and make that, because that gives the positive impression from the all the nature to you. And that is very important while preparing all these things. When this type of food is prepared, then that is going to help you to make it as a good. If you say it should be the fresh, you should not put it into the fridge, you should not eat it the next day. That is the second thing. The primary thing is like that. What you should do, you should have to follow all these things and at least give half an hour for your food in the afternoon and the evening, and make it earlier in the evening. That is most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ranade. And, very interesting aspect, that something which is not visible, many times we have always experienced, the food which anyone's mother cook, it tastes absolutely out of the world. And I think that is what, is the scientific evidence also, that a food, when it's cooked with love and care, has a very, very different outcome and very, very different kind of experience. Recently, the festival of Onam, though I am not a Keralite, but I celebrated Onam and I cooked Onam Sadhya myself for my friends. And you would not believe, they said they have been going to restaurants in Delhi sometime to have Keralite thali and all. They said that this food was absolutely different than what they had ever tasted. I think that love and care, and then the kind of passion you put when you cook, that is very important. So thank you so much for highlighting this also. And I'm sure that the audience should also benefit out of it. And then absolutely, I think get involved with your food, what you are eating. Dr. Warrior, in Ayurveda, we have been always, these days when we go to a doctor and when, let's say, we are not well, and we ask, and many times this has become a tendency because it has been part of, our early upbringing. You ask that, okay, doctor, what to eat and what not. And most of the cases, doctors say, eat whatever you want to eat, no problem. But in Ayurveda, it's very, very, I think, clearly defined that, okay, if you have certain, ailments, what you should avoid, what you should eat, we call it path, I believe. How would you like to, kind of expand on it, and some useful tips can come on this for the viewers?
Thank you, Mr. Kamal Narayan. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's a very relevant point you have mentioned. Because when we encounter the patients, their first question is that what is the pathya? Pathya means there are some restrictions, and the restrictions actually is not for the disease. I mean, not for the medicine. It is for the disease. Suppose if you have diabetic, you are not supposed to take any sweet. That is not due to the medicine, but it is due to the nature of the disease. Like that, there are a lot of misconceptions. And actually, earlier mentioned both the experts that we have our own constitution and body constitution, prakriti. We have to take food according to that prakriti. And generally in Ayurveda, there are some directions that you take food only twice a day, and the main food is in the morning hours, maybe around 9:30, 10, something like that. And evening before sunset, you take very light food. This is the direction given in Ayurveda. I feel, suppose if you follow these directions, the getting disease is a very rarity, because most of the time we are actually overfeeding ourselves. We have bed tea, then breakfast, then 9:30, 10 o'clock, some tea, some snacks, then lunch. Lunch, as Madam mentioned, say there is no concentration on the lunch. Along with the work, lunch is going on. That's not good. Like that, actually, we are taking too much food to cause all the sorts of indigestions or amavastha, as the Ayurveda says. So quantity of food, time of food, the quality of food, they are all very important. And pathya is according to the disease. So the disease condition dictates what are to be taken and what not to be taken.
Thank you so much, Dr. Warrior. Dr. Gunwant, you talked about understanding, and I think a lot of science of Indian kind of food habits and also Ayurveda kind of inspired food practices also, they all had to, I think, that the basic constitution, which is your body and the type of body. You said that there are three type of body, and you said we all should know about what is the way to know about that. Is there any kind of diagnosis, like you go and you get diagnosed for certain diseases, or these days you can even diagnose about your genetic makeup as well, that okay, what genes you carry and what are the constitution of those genes through genetic testing and all that. But how do we test, or how do we diagnose that what kind of body type I have in terms of the Ayurveda, and how then decide that okay, this is kind of pathya for me, this is apatya for me, and what all can help me?
A very nicely question actually, because in Ayurveda there are two things which are very nicely mentioned. The first one is called as a Roga Pariksha, means the examination of a disease. And the second one is called as a Rogi Pariksha, means the examination of a person, patient. And for that reason, this is not practiced. It is in Ayurveda, it is rightly mentioned that we have to examine first the patient and then the disease. But usually it is not happening. Whenever we are sitting in our practice or OPD, when the patient comes to us, we are not going to examine a patient, that particular person. We always ask the question, what is your problem? What type of problem you have?
Symptoms.
So we are just going directly to the examination of a disease. So regarding this, coming to the question, the Prakriti Parikshan, there are certain points, 40, 50, 60 points. And just these are available on the internet also, or you can consult an Ayurvedic physician for that purpose. It will take almost 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and you can have your Prakriti. It's very easy. And for that purpose, if it is required that we have to pay almost some consultation to an Ayurvedic physician, then that should be acceptable, because once we get that particular what is my body type or what is my Prakriti, after that doctor will or the Vaidya will suggest certain things which should be avoided and what you have to take, that is the Pathya and Apatya. So this is a very nice thing. So we should know about this. At the same time, we should know about our Manas Prakriti also, because this is related to the physics. At the same time, in Ayurveda, it is mentioned about the Manas Prakriti, means what kind of mind you have, where it is inclined. So there are certain, you can say, categories. I'm not going in detail of that, but that is also important. And for that purpose, in Ayurveda, there are three types of food also: Sattvic food, Rajasic food, and Tamasic food. So that we have to consider, that point we have to consider also. One more important thing I would like to mention, this is not related to your question, but it is very important for me to mention this, that we are going to audit whatever the income we have and whatever we are expending or whatever we are spending the money. So that is called as audit. The same thing we have to apply for the food also. I usually use the word food audit, and that should be done by a person if he is coming to Ayurvedic physician, that he should mention whatever he is eating, whatever he is drinking, what type of food he is taking, at what time he is taking. So that should be mentioned. And if he do like this for a 2 months or 3 months period, then it is possible for him to advise the correct, you can say, like food for that particular purpose. What should be avoided for you, and what should you can increase or what you have to decrease, and the correction in the time also, and all those things. So that the food audit, this concept I would like to popularize through this particular platform. And
Thank
one
you so
more
much.
thing, if you allow me, I would like to mention one more thing also.
Sir, please.
The food for body, food for mind, and food for soul. These three concepts we have to consider. Sometimes the food is not actually for your, you can say, good for that particular person. But sometimes if he eat or take that particular food, he feels very satisfied. So that is the food for soul. So sometimes it is acceptable that we have to allow this person that once in a month, once in 15 days, you are allowed to take whatever you want to eat.
Somebody is fond of burger, at least once in a month can be allowed to have a burger.
Yes. So food for soul is also very important.
Yes. Yeah, that food has also become entertainment in many cases. So, and I think the way all of you described, food is, I think, one of the absolute indulgence. But we have forgot indulging with that food, or kind of getting involved with food. And it is while it has become, all other aspects have become so much important. How you are serving, the cutlery, the table, the interior of a restaurant. The size of the menu, but at the same time we have started forgetting about what all should go in the actual food. So I think the peripheries have become more important than the core. Dr. Ranade, anything discussion these days cannot complete without COVID-19. And in this pandemic, we have learned so many new things. Pandemic also, kind of showed us cleaner air. And in a city like Delhi, it becomes very difficult to actually see clean air many times. Blue skies, we saw people, kind of getting back to a lot on this. The first wave, at least, you might have seen that the barrage of videos started coming. Everyone is cooking, everyone is getting indulgent of food. And then came the whole thought about boosting your immunity, where Ayurveda also played a very strong, role. I think it has been a very, very important supportive therapy also for many of the cases, in both preventive, prophylactic, and as well as, I think, in the area of curing. We are not saying that, but there has been a supportive role of it. But at the same time, a new realization towards healthy food, towards the combination of the right kind of food which can support your immunity, which can support your many micronutrient deficiency, can address that, has started. So would you like to share some thought on that how this whole immunity aspect, that even if you are not kind of going on everyday Ayurvedic food kind of situation, but at least when people are more aware about their immunity, at least rog pratikarak kshamta. So which are the food as per the Ayurveda suggestions which can help in that?
A nice question you asked, but I would like to go with one thing, is that the most important thing is given in the fasting in Ayurveda. That every time you don't think that everything what you eat, it will give you the immunity. But the fasting is the first thing given in Ayurveda, where you give the rest of your digestive power, and at that time the immunity also get boosted. And now in modern medicine, they have seen if you do the fasting, the T cells grow fast, and then the immune system gets very good. And that's why in olden days, when the fasting was done, the people were not eating the different types of food, preparing some dishes, all other things. Either they eat the fruits, or they may take the liquid only. And that's why they are doing and keeping their body healthy with the help of the fasting. This is the first thing. Second thing, when you want to eat the food, if you prepare it fresh food and not from the 2 days, 3 days, it is not important. Every day the fresh food is giving you the boosting, but you have to decide at the same time to whom you are giving the food, because there are 3 stages in Ayurveda. First is childhood, second is the middle age, and the third is the old age. So whenever you want to build up the immunity in the childhood, you have to give the food which is very supportive and which is going to increase their all the tissues in the body, as well as because immunity is the essence of all 7 tissues. And that's why if the tissues are very good, then the immune system is also very good. And nowadays we have seen that the mothers, they rely on the bakery products to give for the babies, which is very dangerous because of they are the bakery persons, they are using the palm oil or they use the dalda, which is very dangerous for the children. And not even the children, to everybody. But we have the habit that instead of reading ingredients, instead of seeing when it is prepared, we purchase that and give it to the children. That is not good. At least I think government should ban the palm oil and dalda from our bakery products. And that will bring the immunity good even from the childhood, because they always say, they are very shrewd people, the bakery person, and they keep it like the different names for the dalda. And then it is not possible for a person to find out whether it contains dalda. You have to ask the person, you are making it out of dalda, then only they will say. Otherwise, they say bakery shortening. That bakery shortening is used for dalda. And you should always remember all these tricks in the outside menu. If you prepare at home, it will give you the fresh fruits, fresh food, giving you the good immunity and boosting all the tissues and give the good immunity for you. But remember one thing, there are 4 pillars given in Ayurveda. The first is the lifestyle. It should be the proper. Second is the proper exercise. Third is the proper sleep. And the fourth is the good and proper nutrition according to your constitution. All these 4 together make the immunity very good if you follow it properly.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ranade. I think this is something is very, very rampantly available information that you need to work on your lifestyle, your exercise well, have a good sleep, and have a good food nutrition. But at the same time, adherence to it is the biggest problem. You don't see, the awareness is there, many times actions are lacking. Dr. Warrior, some of the food suggestions you may like to share for this whole immunity boosting thought? Sir, you are on mute. This, yeah.
Sorry. See, to build an immunity, whatever we have taken has to be completely digested properly and assimilated properly. So, again, as mentioned earlier, quality of food, quantity of food is very important. And ingesting too much food will never help to improve the immunity, because it will not digest properly. So ultimately it comes to a stage where it's called ama, in which stage the fasting, as mentioned by Madam, is very, very important. In many cases, fasting itself will give a lot of relief. That also will help to improve the immunity. Fasting means this is not completely the avoidance of food. Fasting only for a particular day or a particular number of days. After that, you have to start taking food little by little to increase the digestive fire. So it's a slow process. Improving immunity is a slow process. It cannot be injected or taken from somewhere else. So by our lifestyle, proper exercise, proper food, proper sleep, and proper activity, we have to gradually build the immunity. it is in Ayurveda, it is called natural bala of the body, that is immunity. And that also can be acquired by modifying our activities and food. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Warrior. Dr. Gunwant, fasting is one thing, like we have altered the whole type, lunch time and all that. Fasting, I think Dr. Rana Day and Dr. Warrior both highlighted on the fasting side. Now, fasting has become a lot of religious culture in our country, and fasting happens, but what has happened in the fasting, I think people are ending up eating more than what they eat in the non-fasting days. And maybe they're eating more, fat or more carbs on that day because of the whole, more sugar. I think a lot sugar consumption increases on people eat mithais, for the fasting because they don't want to eat salt or they are not eating salt. So how do you see about this fasting thing? What is the real and the right way of fasting? And is fasting, kind of relevant for everyone? Like, for example, I'm a reflux patient. So I have been always advised to eat multiple meals, frequent meals in small quantity. However, Dr. Warrior says that, eating more than 3 times or more than 2 times is not advisable as per the Ayurveda. So is fasting applicable for a person like me also, or it is, kind of a Ramban for everyone?
This is a very actually important point, and this should be require you can say mass awareness. Actually, I think the fasting word come from the fast food. This is now the condition, because all the fast foods, they are applicable and useful for the fasting nowadays. Like, I would like to give the example of wafers, for example, the potato chips, which contains palm oil for the frying, and at the same time contains a lot of salt. But that is very acceptable, and it is available in the packet of 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, up to 200 rupees also.
And especially during days of Navratri and everywhere, shop is full of those.
Yes. So regarding the immunity, the spices which are mentioned in Ayurveda, that should be wisely used for the immunity. Because once you are going for a fasting, that is okay. But at the same time, some, you can say, persons, they have allergy related to the fasting. I don't follow fast. For those persons, I usually suggest the liquid food, the concept of liquid food, that you have to take at least 2 times in a week, liquid food in the evening. And usually the persons, those who are accepting this particular thing, whatever you take, that should be liquid, and one, you can say, prepared liquid food, you can take in multiple times when you feel hungry. So this is the one thing. The second thing is that important that once for immunity purpose, the freshly cooked food, cook and eat same day. So these type of concepts are very important for immunity purpose. So unless and until you follow these things, the freshly cooked food or cook and eat same day, that is very required. The third thing is that, which is the concept of Agni, which is mentioned in Ayurveda, which is very nicely elaborated by both the experts actually. So respect your Agni. If you are hungry, then eat. If you are not hungry, don't go for the food. So that culture should be developed, and that is very much required. So if we follow these 3 things, use of spices, fasting wisely and nicely, liquid food, and the concept of Agni or respect your Agni. So these are very important for the immunity purpose. So these 4 things I will suggest.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Guruvant. So I think we are now reaching towards the end of the program, but quick thing, I would like to ask a question to all 3 of you. Normally what happens, there is a lot of information available and a lot of food and things are being now sold. been tagged as a healthy food, Ayurvedic, science, and so many things. And I think Ayurveda has also undergone a lot of consumerism. You see, every brand is trying to, kind of capture this market, coming up with all kind of supplements, Ayurveda supplements, this, that, all kind of medicines are available over the counter, where, a lot of things happens without consulting any real, Ayurveda physician. As you said that when I asked you about how we can diagnose the prakriti of our body, you said you have to go and maybe undergo for a 60 question long questionnaire, which will help the physician to reach to a conclusion that what kind of prakriti I have. But what is happening is the doctor Google and everything is available. And I also believe that though we tried to get some information, but a science which was developed in over the 5,000 years cannot be captured in a 1 hour program or maybe a day long program as well. But if there are real seekers who want to understand the science of Indian science of our food, Ayurveda, what are the sources you suggest? Is there any book you suggest that people should read that book? Is there any website you suggest that they should go and there they can get authentic information? Otherwise, the chances are that you will get so much of contradictory information and you may be ending up doing more harm than good. So what is your suggestion, Dr. Ranade?
First thing is that when you go for the constitution, you have to remember, before going to any Vaidya for the constitution, remember one thing, that our body is always giving us the signals. And we have to observe that signal to keep ourselves a proper, healthy for that. Because many times it happens that some type of food is not good for me. The body is telling you that this is not good for you, don't eat that. And instead of that, you eat it, then it creates a problem with you. So all the time, because when you are not hungry, the body is giving you the signal that you are not hungry, don't eat. But some friend has come to you and said, let us go and eat something outside, a small thing. You go with him, eat something, and then the next day result will be the indigestion. So you have to listen first. Before the constitution, you come to know that whatever the signals given by the body, you should try to listen those signals. So it will be easy before going to the constitution and all other things. Then you can go and ask your Vaidya about the constitution, and according to that, you try to take the food. Whenever my patients, they come to me all the time, I give them a suggestion according to the constitution, and then they are doing according to that only. And sometimes if they feel ill, they come and they always tell me, I have done something wrong because what you have told us, we have not followed that. So you have to follow correctly whatever your Vaidya is saying. This is the one thing. Second thing, I told you that stay away from the gadgets. So you should not go and Google it. If you Google it, then everything will be messy. So never go with the Google. Try to see your consciousness, what it is saying to you, and then try yourself to keep yourself healthy. It's not with the Google or not by the others.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ranade. Important point that, like we talk about in modern medicine, don't Google for your treatment. Don't do self-medication. I think the same kind of approach should come in the Ayurveda also. Too much of indulgence in self-medication may not be helpful. So one must try to see some expert, trained, certified, Vaidyas, doctors. Dr. Gunwant, what is your suggestion, in terms of what can be the right source of information apart from physician? Because some information must be there, to do guide, do it yourself guide should be available for people. And as I said, that Ayurveda is so, kind of diverse and so fluid that, it has been part of every family. Now, how to correct that information, because sometimes that information may require some kind of, upgraded knowledge. We may be understanding that, okay, something was good to a specific type of body. So what can be a, authentic source for such information?
Regarding authentic source, if you say that don't Google, nobody is going to listen to you. This is the first thing. The second thing is regarding the book you mentioned. So I would like to mention Dr. Sunanda Ranade has written a very nice book on Ayurvedic Ahara Vigyan, that is Ayurvedic diet and nutrition. So that is a very authentic source, and that should get, you can say, popularized. And the last thing I would like to mention, this is not related to the question, but this is very important for me to mention over here, that there is a proverb that is, apple a day keeps doctor away. But being Ayurvedic physicians, we have to popularize amalaki a day keeps doctor away, or vaidya away. So that should get popularized in India at least.
And amla,
amalaki fruit, amla. So this is very important, and we have to popularize this concept. Amalaki a day keeps vaidya away.
Maybe an apple for a Himachali, it can keep a doctor away.
Yes.
Because that's a local.
Yeah, local. Local for the European persons, but not for the Pune, Mumbai, and the South India part of India.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Gunwant. Important point. Dr. Warrior, any suggestion from your side? You are on mute, sir. So sir, please unmute and your suggestion. Dr. Gunwant has given good, suggestion of Ayurveda Ahar Vigyan by Dr. Ranade. Dr. Ranade, you did not mention about your own book.
It is given in biodata.
I agree with both the experts have mentioned regarding the Googling. I have one more suggestion that now the awareness is very little as far as Ayurveda is concerned. Everybody talks about, even the government talks about, but the real awareness. So we have to build some sort of awareness. So how to do it? We induct in some of the lower classes, maybe third standard, fourth standard onwards, some very, very minute basic principles of Ayurveda, so that by the time a student come to SSLC and beyond that, he will have an idea about what is Ayurveda. See, now everybody studies science, physics, chemistry, biology, everything, but not Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is based on Indian philosophy. So the basic principle itself is much different. So I think it must be an abridged version to be taught to the students, so that by 3-4 years, they will know what is Ayurveda, what are the principles of Ayurveda, what is Panchamahabhuta, what is dosha, all those things. That will give more awareness. It's only now the question is mainly lack of awareness.
Thank you so much. Yes, very important aspect. The lack of awareness, right awareness is there for sure. And as we, feel that children should be the right target audience, because there you can nurture the healthy habits, healthy knowledge, which can last for the lifetime. And if you might have seen in our video, which we were playing, we are also, along with Bharat Nutrition Week, we run a, Bharat Poshan quiz, where we engage with school children across the country and different zones. As yesterday it was a north zone, day before it was south zone, and we ask them the questions related to nutrition, and they try, they study, they come and they answer. There is a sense of competitiveness in that, but at the same time, in the process, some information which is important for them to kind of imbibe is going there. And I think that's a great suggestion, Dr. Warrior, that at least the basics of Ayurveda should be a chapter which should come early in age, where they can understand, and not to demean any other science or philosophy, but to also tell them the scientific basis of such information which can stay with them for lifetime. I think that's a very good suggestion. So thank you so much, all our enlightened speakers today. You tried enlightening the others as well on this, and this is something to our audience, as I think the summary is that eat your food like medicine. Otherwise, what happens? Most of us eat medicines like our food. So it is important that food is given the true, I think, value. We need to involve in it. We need to ensure that, I think, and food is something which you eat all your lifespan, from the right from the birth, when you kind of is getting the nutrition from your mother till the time you die. You need to have food in some form. Some nutrition has to go, and maybe 3 times in a day. So it do kind of give due value to it. Eat healthy, eat local, and we are I think blessed with such a wonderful knowledge and science of Ayurveda. Try to find out more about it. Go to some Vaidyas, some certified physicians of Ayurveda. They can help you. And as all our esteemed panelists said, there is information available. You can try. There are books, Ayurveda Ahar Vigyan by Dr. Ranade by herself. And there are a lot of such institutions like that of Dr. Warrior, which are still propagating and carrying forward the flag of Indian Ayurveda. I think that's wonderful. So thank you so much, all 3 of you, for joining us today, and we're looking forward to keep working with you and take this awareness forward to the people. Thank you so much.
Kamalji, I would like to mention that you are a very good host.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for giving us the chance to speak in this webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we will stay connected. We'll try to understand more, and we'll do more such programs which people can. I think that's a wonderful information which can go to the people and can help them live healthier. And that's the vision of ISW Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.